Welcome to the Redox OS nonprofit board meeting for the third quarter of 2024. I call the meeting of board of directors of Redox OS to order. When I state your name, please acknowledge your presence. Jeremy Solar,
Present.
Alberto Souza,
Present.
Jacob Snyder,
I'm present.
and I'm Ron Williams. I'm present. We have a quorum. The meeting's going to be a bit short because I haven't been able to prepare all the topics for discussion. So we're going to have several topics that we will discuss offline through written communication, and then we'll formally adopt them during the next board meeting. So we'll go over those things later. First item, the minutes from the previous board meeting were made available and have been provided for your review. Are there any corrections? If there's no corrections, then the minutes are approved as distributed. Can I get a motion to have the treasurer give an update on our finances? Alberto, do you want to do
Ron, can you send the meeting script?
Oh, can you get it from the MR link? Or do you want me to post it here? I can post it here if you prefer. Just give me 2 seconds.
Send a link to the nonprofit room. It should be there.
Okay. Are we on the finances part?
Yes.
Okay. Move it.
I move.
Okay, Jeremy, could you give us an update on the finances? Do you have the latest?
Yes. So our account balances at the end of last quarter and the end of last month are as follows. Bank account on May 31st, $28,975.35. On August 31st, $26,105.06. Credit card on May 31st, $2,239.63 negative. On August 31st, $1,782.95 negative. Teespring balance on May 31st, $172.08. On August 31st, $409.91. Bitcoin balance on May 31st, $67.50. On August 31st, $63.63. I would say that the cryptocurrencies are at the current exchange rate, to clarify that. Ethereum on May 31st, $84.50. On August 31st, $430.70. Radical and USD coin on August 31st were $4,134.69. I do not believe we don't have a recorded balance for May 31st. Radworks, again, we do not have a recorded balance for May 31st, but as of August 31st, $12,459.08. So the total as of May 31st, $27,059.80. As of August 31st, $41,820.12.
Jeremy, sorry to interrupt. I just want to clarify. So this is my mistake. Those balances are not as of August 31st. Those balances are as of September 25th.
Right, as of today, September 25th. So we are in the process of getting a corporate account for converting our various coins into USD. This is particularly important for the Radworks amount, as it could have tax implications if it goes through a personal account. So an important thing to note is that those cryptocurrency balances are not liquid and can't be spent as the nonprofit pleases. and trying to sell them through a personal account would involve a transfer from a nonprofit to a personal entity, which is usually a bad idea, and then a transfer back from the personal entity back into the nonprofit entity. And it would be preferable if the balances could be converted into USD in our checking account in a exchange account that's owned by the nonprofit. So I filed for an account on Kraken, and the process has been, we are needing some more documentation to supply to them in order to finish that process. And that's something that we'll talk about offline after the board meeting. The 501c4 nonprofit status is not yet approved. They requested an additional form, a 1024A, and now we are expecting a response in 180 days. So what this means is that the nonprofit may have to file standard corporate taxes for the tax year of 2023. And in that case, I expect a adjustment to the budget after we understand what the implication will be. A payment was made by NLNet directly to 4LDO2 for the work on the POSIX Signals project. This is outside the scope of Redox. However, there are some future payments from NLNet that will be coming to Redox for the testing portion of the project. So are there any other questions on the finances?
If there's no further questions, could I get a motion to close the discussion? Jacob, do you mind?
Sorry, yep, moved.
Jeremy, do you want to second?
Seconded, yeah.
Okay. All those in favor of closing the discussion on finances, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, thank you. Discussion on finances is closed. Next topic is community moderation. Could I get a motion to discuss the community moderation?
Moved.
Seconded.
Okay, Jacob, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Thanks, everyone. So in light of recent events with the community, there's just a few things I'd like to reiterate in terms of communication between community members and team members, just in terms of respectful communication. So the Redox community, obviously we refer to the Rust Code of Conduct. Pretty much, in short, it covers the discriminatory behaviors towards people, individuals or groups, not limited to, of course, verbal and physical abuse, negative, hurtful remarks on preferences, behaviors, or opinions. Pretty much the whole. Yeah, we don't tolerate negativity. The reason we do that is because we want to make Redox a warm and welcoming community. Importantly, however, we want it to be productive. And so to do that, we have moderators who ensure that these guidelines are adhered to by reminding users of the guidelines. And sometimes we need to step in and diffuse situations. However, moderators are people like everyone else. Of course, moderators have opinions, they have biases. And therefore, it should go without saying that a situation which you think has not been handled properly should be dealt with through communication. Obviously, speak to people who you think should be involved. You can talk to any one of the moderators. That's our job. And yet, to put a twist on the whole situation, it should just go without saying that moderation is not because we want to impose rules. It's not because we want to police. It's because it helps the community stick together. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that just in light of recent events, obviously. If there's any questions about what happened, please feel free to ask. There's nothing to hide. We just thought I'd close that topic off. Thanks, everyone.
Does anybody have anything else to add? Okay, if there's no further comments and there's no changes to the current policy. Can I get a motion to close the discussion?
Moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that we close the discussion on community moderation. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.
Aye.
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 Okay, the discussion on community moderation is closed. Okay, there's several topics that I had hoped to prepare for this meeting, but due to illness, I haven't been able to prepare. So we're going to have those discussions on a text basis among the board, and then once we decide on our approach or our policy or solution or whatever, then we will go over those things in the next board meeting. We're not trying to hide anything, but there are several topics to discuss, and there just isn't a proper um, framework for that discussion other than just having these discussions essentially offline with the board. If anybody wants to know more about the discussions that the board is having on any of these topics, please let us know and we will update you. Could I get a motion um, to propose some topics for further discussion? These will be added as items for the next board meeting.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, so I'm going to propose some action items and some assignments. If you would either like to add yourself as an actor in one of these action items, or if you would like to remove yourself, or if you want to suggest somebody else, please let me know. So the first item, corporate governance document, is required for applying for the corporate account. I'm sorry, who was that? The corporate account with, Jeremy?
Kraken.
Kraken. Okay, and so we're just basically writing up what our current structure is. There's no new information in this corporate governance document. It just needs to be written in the appropriate form. So that's an action item on me. Um, the next item, development budget. So our revenue has been pretty good compared to our spending rate. So we need to discuss our current and 2025 development budgets and make sure that we're spending at an appropriate rate. So that action item will also be on me initially, and I'll get input from the rest of the board on that. So our community is growing pretty rapidly right now, and we have quite a few contributors, and I think that we're underutilizing people a little bit, and in particular when new people join, we need to do a better job of showing them what we would like done. So in particular, I think we need to have a way of identifying potential projects for people and making sure that our volunteers are focused. And I think that we also need to have more thought into some of our student projects. We're getting more students joining, and in particular, some of our RSOC projects. I think that we need to review some of those. We do have an opportunity coming up in December for an RSOC type of project, so I want to make sure that that's focused. And another area is that I think that we want to have a better idea of who is working on what, either actively working on or has done some work on. One of the things that comes up a lot is networking, who's working on networking related stuff. The 9P interface comes up a lot, and so I want to make sure that anybody that's done any work on these things, that we have some sort of a record of that. So I want to go over that with Jeremy and figure out if there's a better way for us to effectively do project management within the community without being heavy-handed about it. I owe you guys a trip report from RustConf. There were lots of interesting discussions that I had with people, and I haven't had a chance to go over them all with you. And there are some things I learned about people's opinions about Redox, and I think it mainly has to do with us doing a better job of communication. So I've got some ideas on that, and I'll give you a trip report, plus I will try to lay out some of my ideas to address some of the things that came up. On the website, so we've been making incremental progress on the website, but we did not take an action item last time around. So Jacob's produced a draft website that's waiting for my review. And there's a few items related to the website, but I think that they have a slightly bigger picture perspective as well. So that's an action item on me to review with Jacob and talk about those things some more. Regarding the trademark, we decided how we were going to move forward with the trademark, but we didn't assign an action item to anybody. So I'm wondering, Jeremy, would you be able to take on getting the trademark write-up changed to Redox specific?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other items that we should be adding to the list of action items? Okay, if there's no additional items, could I get we'll try and address these things before the next board meeting, and then we'll summarize them and confirm them with the board. So could I get a motion to close the discussion on the list of action items?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor of closing the discussion on the action items, say aye.
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 Okay, 1 second, please. Sorry about that. Okay, so the discussion on action items is closed. Regarding the agenda for the next meeting, so we'll have in the notes it says the next meeting should take place no later than September 30th, but it'll be no later than December 31st. So we'll have the approval of the minutes from this meeting. We'll have a report on the year-to-date finances. That won't quite be the end of year. And report on the fundraising activity. I'm sorry I didn't do one this time around, but I'll do one for the next time. And then a report as appropriate on the list of action items that we discussed. Is there any other business? There being no other business, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that we adjourn. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
The ayes have it. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.